Hi, let's bust some myths around working with resin at home. So, if you're on the fence and you are still very excited to start your first project with resin, but you are so afraid of creating artwork with resin at home and you don't know how to organize your space, if it's even allowed, what is important, what is not, I'm here to bust the myths. I'm here to tell you what is really important and what is really necessary to remember about when you work with resin. And what is the most important, I want to tell you that you can absolutely do it even if you don't have any art room or art studio, because I can feel you that if you look at those tutorials and other artist channels and they have such a big space, they can, they have such a beautiful rooms or art studios where they create resin, and you are wondering how I can even start doing it at home, right? So I'm here to guide you throughout the entire process, and I'm here to bust some myths with you, and I'm here to crush some limited beliefs, because my goal is to convince you that you can do this as well, and it's really possible. So stay till the end of the video to learn everything you need to know about working with resin at home. So first things first, I'm an artist who is doing really a lot of different projects with resin for the past 3 years, and I must tell you that I still don't have my art studio. Heck, I'm working with like half of my room at home, which is very mostly used by my husband as well. What is very important when you create artwork with resin is that you are in around 12 hours from pouring with resin. The room needs to be, exclusive. But after that, if you ventilate the space properly and clean it properly before and after, anyone can use the room. So let's talk about which part of the house you should be choosing for creating resin. So I want to, because I'm specializing now with geode resin, and I'm working with geode paintings a lot, and I'm teaching you about geode style, I want to tell you that there are approximately 15 steps of geode art creation process. And this is what I'm describing in detail in my free PDF guide for everyone who wants to get it. Please check the description. But what is very important, from all of those 15 steps, only 2 steps require specific space that is gonna be dedicated for resin pour, and it needs to be pet free, kids free, and really, like, no one should be using this space for around 12 hours at least. It would be great if no one can use it for like 24 hours, but 12 hours is the bare minimum to let the resin just be there to cure, because what is really important here, that resin is a very expensive but also sensitive medium. The temperature and the humidity and the dust there are 3 big factors in resin process creation, and it's very important that you will allow the resin to cure without moving around, walking around, inhaling the resin. So to remember all the safety around working with resin, like, some people are very sensitive, so please be careful and observe yourself. Be very mindful when you are working with resin. If you're getting any headaches, or maybe your eyes are very sore, or maybe your skin, you need to always protect yourself first, right? So remember, guys, about protecting yourself first. Always wear gloves, always wear mask. If your eyes are also sensitive, maybe you need a mask with a shield. But those are the bare minimums. And always, I don't know which brand you will be choosing to pour with resin, but always read the safety data around working with resin. So resin, when you mix it and when you pour it, and when you start to heat up the resin, all of the fumes that are coming out from the resin in all of the hours of the process of the creation, the curing process, this is the time when you are not allowed to inhale or touch the resin, right? When it's cured, everything is fine, but during the resin, sometimes it's curing from 12 to even 24 hours. Some resins are shorter, because it all depends on the brand and on the resin you are using. But this is very important to protect yourself first, and then also protect room or the area that you are working on, right? So when you will be using your space for pouring the resin, remember that it's only when you create geode art, it's only for the main resin pour and then for the top coating. For the other stages of artwork creation, where you do the prep work, where you draw the design, when you put the crystals on, when you draw the lines, do some detail work with varnish, those other steps can be created in any areas of your house. So if you are a very busy mom with the kids, it's very, very crucial to remember that you can do this. You can really do this. You can work with resin, like with artwork creation process, which is having so many steps in different areas, on different days, in different areas of your house. You can bring the artwork in your living room. The kids are playing next to you. You can do some finish work. My 5-year-old is always so pumped to help me with some prep work, with putting some gesso on the panels, even like taping the back side of the panels. He's always so pumped to help me, and he cannot wait to be grown enough to even work with resin. But I'm here to bust the myth and show you that it is possible. So let's talk about what to do when you will decide to pour the resin, right? You have all of the prep work done, you have crystals on your panel, you have druzy, and you need to pour the resin. So choose the room. The best room to choose is the room that no one is really like sleeping in there, because for 12 hours, even if you will start very early in the morning, till the evening, you need to still ventilate the space, right? But it's better to choose a room that no one else is sleeping in this room. And this room needs to have a stable temperature throughout the curing process. The best temperature to work with resin is around 22 Celsius, which is 71 Fahrenheit. But a little bit below that, it's also fine. You just need to warm up the resin a little bit. A little bit above that is also fine. Because it's just the work time, the pot life of the resin, the workable time with the resin is gonna be a little bit shorter, but you can still do it. What is really important to remember here is that the temperature is not shifting drastically. It's not like from 20 to 10 degrees Celsius in a couple of hours. It's kind of stable. Especially it's important when you pour the top coat, not maybe even with the main colored resin coat, the main pour that you will be doing, but the top coat, it's much more challenging. So remember to choose to work at home instead of garage or shed. The other reason, other than temperature and humidity, which should be below 30% humidity, is the dust. In the shed, in the garage, is a little bit more challenging to get the dust-free space, right? So even at home, if you will be choosing room to pour the resin, it's really important to choose the room that is easy to protect, but also maybe it is not having any carpets or curtains. But even if it does, right, just remember to prepare the room properly. Just vacuum the room, spray the mist with water mist around in the air, so all of the dust particles are settling down. And when you are working with resin, don't make like very sudden moves. If you have a lot of stuff, a lot of dust in the room, just try to not stir the air too much, right? So this is very important, especially when you're pouring top coat. All of the particles, if you will be pouring the main pour with resin, when you do the lines and the color and everything, you will still top coat it. So even if you have like dust particles or something like that, it's gonna be covered later. But if you pour top coat, it's very, very crucial. The dust, the temperature, the humidity, it's much, much more crucial in this stage of the almost the last stage of artwork creation process, right? So remember about those three things. And another thing that it's gonna make or break your artwork, it's level. It needs to be perfectly leveled. So if you don't have any firm table, any table that you can really spare for artwork creation process, and I'm not requesting it from you, is not really necessary. What I using very often, and you can see on my tutorials, I got myself the storage containers, which are knee-high, and I first put a very thick foil, which is like drip cloth, protection foil that you use when you, for example, paint the walls. You put this underneath to cover your floor, and it's better if you have right the panels or like wooden floor or towels, because if you have carpet, the level, it will be like much more difficult to catch the level, especially if it's like very thick carpet. So I'm putting the drip cloth on my floor, and then the container, I'm double checking the level, and then I'm putting the canvas on top of that. And this is how I'm working. And then it's so easy to remove everything, to take the container away, take the foil and use the room for anything else that you needed, especially if you maybe pour the resin once a week. The whole process of geode art creation, even if you work every day on that, it can take up to a week. So yeah, if you want to have the full blueprint of how to prepare the space and how to create our artwork, what are the specific steps, get your free art guide for the beginners to kickstart your journey. But I'm gonna show up here and talk about everything that is important in video, so also you can see all of the information here. But yeah, what is really crucial, guys, is that you remember about the level surface, because if the surface is not gonna be leveled, resin is curing a couple of hours, so it's gonna very slowly but surely, it's gonna be sliding and sliding and sliding, and all of those cool effects, all of the design that you created and spent so many time to design, or to think through and to pour, is gonna be ruined. So this is what is gonna make or break your artwork, right? And then from all of those important things, at the end, when you finish pouring, just leave the artwork in the room, close the door, no kids, not pets allowed, not going back and forward and looking at the artwork. When you torch it, when you heat up the resin, you have mask, you have gloves, you clean up everything, just close the door, come back next day or after 12 hours if it's like the evening and you are, okay, it's 12 hours, I want to see what's happening. The resin, usually the one that you're choosing to work with, which is high viscosity resin, the one, it's gonna be already cured, maybe if not completely, but it's not gonna be runny anymore, and you can come in, check your artwork and ventilate the space very well. So even if the resin is not super smelly, remember, protect yourself, ventilate the room. You don't want all of your family to inhale the fumes, especially if you have kids at home. So don't allow them to walk into the room, play around, use the room for anything. And then when everything is done and you ventilate it, you can get back to using this room for anything that you really want to. So those are my very, very important steps that are like must, right? So I hope I help you with busting all of those myths and limited beliefs. And if you're still on the fence with deciding, should I do this, should I not, I really don't have time, space, money to start all of this journey, even if it's so tempting, just do it, take action. I'm gonna record more videos about how to organize your project, the time around the family, what is the blueprint. And also I want to talk about budget and about essentials, because you really don't need a lot of time, a lot of space and a lot of art materials to start creating and to really enjoy all of this process. And I'm hoping that I help you make the decision about how to organize it in your home and how to make it work for yourself. And if you want to see more tips around resin creation process and about how to start or where to even start and what is important and what is not, check my other videos and grab your free guide to kickstart your resin journey. It's for free, so there's nothing to lose here, and I'm gonna see you in the next videos.